Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 92nd episode of the IGC podcast. That's right, the Impact Gaming Community Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Gray Geraldin, and with me today is AIMonster.
Yes, and I'd like to mention we're not playing Epic Spell Wars. This is not Table Tennis, Top Simulator.
That's true. I should probably work on changing that. That is the one thing that I forgot to do. I apologize, so I will do that in a moment. So it's just us today, and we've got a little bit of news to talk about, but mostly we're going to be chatting a bit about the EA press conference and the Microsoft press conference, which just ended about 25 so minutes ago. Man, they really showed off a hell of a lot of stuff at that conference. I was impressed.
Yeah, they sure did. It was looking very iffy there with the Porsche advertisement in the beginning, but
yeah, you know, I'm kind of glad they front-loaded the stupid, and then they just kind of went into games. I was saying in the Hangout, I feel like they did the Sony thing. You know, they just showed us games, and that's what people care about. And I think a lot of people are pretty positive on what we saw. Maybe not so much some of the stuff we heard about, such as the price or whatever, which we'll get into later. But pretty good stuff, I think, overall. So, good on you, Microsoft. Do you have the stamp of approval from IGC? I'm not a Xbox owner myself. I know plenty of people who do own an Xbox, and I think they'll all be pleased with what they saw and, making good on their investment with you guys, which is pretty cool. So usually we talk about the games we are playing or have been playing over the past 2 weeks, but we have so much stuff to talk about today. We are going to jump right into the news. So I hope that is okay with everyone watching the stream or listening to us. We're really happy. If we have any listeners here on Twitch or on Mixer now, formerly Beam, and of course YouTube Gaming, we do this every other week. So let's get right into it. Nintendo finally announced that Switch Online is coming in 2018. Right? I think.
Yeah.
No, Nintendo, it was just as a thing. Other consoles have online services when they launch, and they've been doing it for, I don't know. How long have they been doing it now, AI? A long while, right?
I don't know, like 2000?
Since like 2000? Yeah. I mean, original Xbox, PlayStation sort of got their shit together, I guess, with PS3, really. But it's been a long time, and now, you're behind the times, Nintendo, on a lot of things, and I think watching, even looking at some of the indie games and stuff that we saw so far at E3 this weekend, really shows just how far behind the times Nintendo is on a lot of things. But we should probably talk about the pricing plan a little bit. Do you want to address this issue here?
I mean, I don't think the pricing isn't too bad. So it's $4 a month. For 12-month membership, it's $20. So I'm not gonna break your wallet. It's just kind of more money you're throwing at Nintendo for no particular reason. But the actual service as a whole is very far behind PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what you're getting for this money here. They have a nice little chart. It shows you getting online gameplay for whatever that means. I guess multiplayer, online lobby, voice chat application. Although, isn't that being done through the phone?
Yeah, you need to use a phone app to access the online lobby and voice chat. Yeah, so
it's not even coming through the actual
for the system. Yeah, it's not coming for the system.
That's just so weird.
Absurd.
That's this very unorthodox way to go about things. Let's see, what else you getting? You're getting Nintendo Shop eShop deals, so I guess you're getting discounts maybe on stuff, and you're getting a classic game selection. Just, I think, a bit overblown, right?
So the classic game selection, you get the game for that month to play for free, and it's a classic ROM game, and you only get it one game per month, and that's it, and you're done.
Yeah, and it's
after the month.
Yeah, you get it for that. You like leasing it for like 30 days or whatever, right? Kind of how it works.
So it's again absurd.
Yeah, it's very strange. Just very, very weird. It just seems like I don't know exactly what kind of value that is. When something like ROMs do exist out there in the world and people are playing a lot of these classic games for basically nothing, you know. I mean, that's where you're at, Nintendo. So we were debating a bit. I think it was last episode, right? Did we talk about Steam Direct last episode, or was that like 2 episodes ago? It's hard to remember.
I don't remember, but yeah, we did talk about it.
Yeah, so there was some debate about what that was going to cost. The Steam Direct fee. This is the replacement for Steam Greenlight, for those who have been keeping track. That is the way that Steam allows you to publish games to their platform and all that good business. We heard a lot about this from Jim Sterling and Total Biscuit about a month ago, maybe a little longer, about all the things that Steam was sort of wanting to put in place. But this particular thing was a point because it was sort of it's the entry fee for how you're going to get your game on the platform or whatever. And Steam has decided that it's going to be $100 per game, right? It's not per publisher anymore; it's per game. I feel like people.
I don't think it was per publisher before.
No, it wasn't.
I think it was per game before. So this fee is very, very odd. It's not changing anything.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's going to change much as far as can you afford to put your game on Steam. I feel like all the other changes to Steam with Steam Direct are really the things that are going to drive, hopefully, the quality of the games up and reduce the bullshit games that you're able to that are currently coming down in your feed and stuff like that on Steam itself. I know Chocobro had an opinion about this. I forget exactly what he had said, but I don't know.
He said it's going to turn into a mobile store, which is exactly what I think.
Yeah.
This is actually removing a barrier of entry instead of making it harder to put your game on Steam.
Sure. I mean, I can totally see that. And this money.
You no longer have to go for Steam Greenlight anymore. You just get your game straight on, pay $100 fee, you're done.
I wonder what all the other changes. I mean, it was a very long article where they discussed this. The sticking point was the fee, really. Just all the other changes that they're going to do have to kind of come in very soon with this system. They have to get rid of that fake game stuff. They have to find a way to increase the quality of stuff. They have to let you remove stuff from your feed. I get a lot of suggestions for games on Steam, and I think it's a good beginning of a system for suggesting games to me and whatnot based on what I used to play and what my friends play or what I've played multiplayer with them and such. But I find a lot of the suggestions on Steam are just way off. Just a lot of games I would never play.
Steam thinks I only play perverted visual novels.
Well, that's true, isn't it?
No, it's maybe about 5% true.
So it's 100% true to that.
I play all sorts of games. I mean, it's like these recommendations are super weird.
They're really bad. They're just really, really bad.
Usually it was pretty accurate, but when I bought Neko Power, it's just like, okay, you're just into this anime pervert.
Yeah, you screwed it all up. You played a weird ass game that Steam was like, oh, we don't know how to process this in our algorithm.
I have Gender Bender DNA Twister Extreme on my recommendation list.
Yeah, that is odd. I mean, there's some stuff that's good, right? You get some good suggestions.
It's recommended me Vanguard Princess, which is an okay fighting game. I actually have that.
A lot of those on there, right?
Yeah. I mean, none of these actually particularly look quite interesting. Actually, I don't think I would buy any of these. Any of the other suggestions besides that.
I mean, it suggests to me a lot of little indie games because I played stuff like Lone Survivor. But I don't have any interest in visiting those games. And then it suggests me a ton of CRPGs, a ton of RPGs in general. It suggests me some FPS games, I guess, because I played Metro once. But it's stuff I haven't played in forever. And I just feel like there's got to be a way to be no, I don't know. Rocket League does this thing with maps where you can 5 maps or something and hate 2 maps and downvote them so they don't show up in your queue as often or whatever. I wish Steam had that kind of thing where nope, actually, this isn't a game I'm interested in at all. Please stop showing me games like this. This was just a one-time affair where I tried playing this game. Because you play something for an hour. If you play DayZ for an hour, I'm sure it's suggesting you PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds and a bunch of other game stuff, and it's working perfectly fine. Except it doesn't doesn't flex with how long ago you played a certain game or whatever. I think it needs a lot of improvement. But I mean, that's just one element of stuff that they're thinking about changing. Just hope it all comes in sooner rather than later because it's getting a little out of hand. All right. Where are we at? I don't even know what I'm doing on the podcast itself. Oh yeah, we still got
GameStop
troll face thing going on here. I'm like, wait, I'm looking at this article. I gotta get a video up. Right. So
just put the Witcher video.
Yeah,
up.
I'm gonna put that up right now. So, all right, this is actually interesting because my wife was on vacation this past week and she got a letter from GameStop, saying this very thing. But this comes from Kotaku. I'm sure it's coming from elsewhere, but this is this article we're looking at. GameStop has had customer credit cards stolen recently, or supposedly. And she got a letter in the mail that she read yesterday when I got home with her from the airport that said exactly this, that, we just want to inform you that it is possible due to a breach of security. I wish I'd brought the letter up, actually, because I meant to. That your credit card information may be out there in the world right now. Just an FYI, just toodle you, letting you know in case you care. So this is a big problem because obviously a lot of people spend money at GameStop, so a violation on this or a breach in their security like this is kind of a big deal.
Thanks, GameStop. Give me even more reason not to buy from your store.
Yep. I used to go into GameStop once a year to get a gift card for someone. Now I realized I could buy that same gift card at Stop & Shop, so I don't go to GameStop at all anymore. I'm thankful for you, Stop & Shop. Thank you very much. So if you have received that letter, please look into it, or if you haven't checked your mail yet, look at it because it's possible that something may come of all this. This is usually a time where people are like, looking at class action bullshit and whatever. So keep your ear to the ground on this one because GameStop, they didn't do so good. So here's kind of a funny article leading up to our E3 stuff here. So CD Projekt Red.
I mean, it shouldn't be funny, but
shouldn't be funny, but it is funny. CD Projekt Red had a bunch of code stolen from them relating to Cyberpunk 2077. And they received a ransom letter from the people who stole the code from them. How dumb do you have to be?
I mean, this is a common thing. This ransomware stuff. I mean, it's not ransomware, but it's ransoming information. It's a common thing that happens a lot, and I like CD Projekt's Red stance on it.
It's pretty awesome. So CD Projekt Red posted the letter on their Twitter, basically telling these guys, fuck you, we're not paying your demands or whatever, go right ahead, release whatever the hell you want to do, we'll get legal authorities involved, and we'll see you in court or something like that. I mean, it's just bad form, guys. Like, really? You're going to steal some stuff, and then you're going to try to release it to the public? Like, did you think this one through? I don't think so.
Not only are you stealing, you're stealing from one of the best game developers on DRM and all that other nonsense that's horrible for consumers. I mean,
yeah, these are the good guys.
Yeah, it's like you're stealing from an orphanage or something.
Yeah, don't steal from the good guys. That's terrible. Steal from like Ubisoft or something. I'm not saying you should steal from Ubisoft. I'm sorry, but if you're gonna steal from someone, steal from Ubisoft or EA or someone who's a dick.
Go ahead.
You can pirate Nintendo games. Download those ROMs all fucking day. I'll even put a link to where you can download the ROMs in our iTunes listing. No, I won't. You probably already know. All right. Last but not least, in terms of news, so League of Legends pros are apparently getting organized into a bit of a union here and are now demanding salaries of some kind. So I didn't read through this entire article. Just reading the title itself was kind of like, really?
This is actually Riot Games that is creating a union for them.
Riot Games, man, they are. You're in deep now, Riot. You made the game, and now you're like hiring people to play it or something. I mean, I guess this is about what, pushing advertisements or something.
I mean, it's about making the professional league more serious, I suppose, and then that they have a union and everything, and to better the working conditions for people there, as unions should be. Of course, unions can be corrupt, but
sure, yeah, they absolutely can be. All right, well, so this is part of them, really trying to legitimize the whole business of e-sporting and stuff like that.
Yep, and the minimum salaries for pro players will now be $75,000.
That's not too shabby. That's not too bad. 3/4 of 100K.
Oh yeah, it's above the median, and that's a minimum salary.
Yeah,
so.
that's definitely above the median. Well, good on those guys who spend lots and lots of their free time getting really good at games like League of Legends. Now you will actually be able to tell your mom when you're living in her basement that, hey, Mom, this actually commands a salary that justifies the amount of time I spent and the rent I haven't been paying you. So cool.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, 75 grand. That's a good amount of money.
Yeah, but you have to prove it.
You have to prove it. Okay. We've heard over the past couple of years about how difficult it is for like getting visas and stuff, right? I mean, there was some backlash with that last year, I believe. So this is another step in that direction to say, hey, listen, I have a legitimate job. This is actually a thing I do, and you should let me into your country to play video games. And I guess it's a win, right?
Yeah, I would say it's a win for the professional players.
It sounds,
for now.
seems here too, like it says they're also on the player side, minimum salaries for pro players will be raised to 75 grand, and the total player population is also guaranteed to earn at least 35% of league revenues, meaning there is a potential for bonuses. So it could even be higher than 75 grand. I mean, obviously you got to be good at this game, right?
Well, I would assume the top rows make way above that salary.
Yeah,
so I mean, they probably make absurd amounts of money, like more than me.
Sure. And they've got sponsorships and stuff like that, and they're making some money on the side, selling mouses and mouse pads and headsets
and Twitch streams if they do that,
and video cards and the hell else knows what else. Good on them, man. I got no problem with this. I know I'm kind of like, I'm all tongue-in-cheek about this. I really have no problem with this. There's a lot of work that goes into being a professional player at anything. Video games used to just be something that people made fun of you in school for playing, and you were in the closet about it in a lot of ways. And nowadays, people look at it a lot differently, and I actually have a lot of respect for people who play stuff like MOBAs and stuff professionally. I do play Rocket League, so I am in that sort of circle of, I watch the pro players, and I realize, wow, that stuff is really hard to do, and it takes a lot of practice to be that good at the game. I'm also starting to play some Star Wars Destiny tournaments. That's a CCG locally. I actually won my tournament today. Clap for me. And I recognize how hard it is to be a professional player, like literally be like, I have a legit job in this career, and that's cool. If you get to that point, that's like a dream job. I play video games and get paid, and I can retire at 30. My wife is asking me for a dinner order right now. Why don't you take us into EA's conference? So that happened when?
It was Saturday. It was 4, I think it was. I don't even remember now. It's a very forgettable conference.
Forgettable. I actually watched Engadget's the EA conference in 13 minutes video today while I was preparing for my tournament. Yeah, it seemed like there really wasn't a whole lot in there. I mean, we're talking about we're going to show you. We'll talk about 6 games briefly, and that's kind of all there was.
So there was FIFA, Madden, and NBA Live.
Oh yeah, but that's like what you expect to see every time EA has a conference, right? I mean. We're gonna get FIFA.
I mean, this was very, very by numbers conference.
Yeah, let me know when NHL comes back. Maybe I'll actually care a little bit. Yeah, I mean, so the first game we saw, and this also closed out the Xbox conference, was Anthem, which is, man, I tell you, there is a formula now for these Frostbite engine games that EA is having BioWare turn out. This game makes Mass Effect Andromeda look like a tech demo. For this game.
But what they showed at the EA conference was nothing. They just showed a bunch of environmental bands and
which we've got up right now, and we'll show you.
And it looks like Destiny. It looks like Destiny in the game.
It looks like Destiny, but it looks like it also plays like Mass Effect Andromeda. Like almost exactly.
Well, you couldn't tell from this trailer. Right? This EA trailer, this trailer they showed for the game at the EA conference, which I thought was odd that they showed more at the Microsoft conference and the EA conference.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Because it's EA's publishing them. You think, I guess because they want to show off the game in 4K, right?
I guess I don't know the reasoning. Because their conference is bad, and this didn't help at the time.
This didn't help, and I don't know. Yeah, we'll talk about it a little more later, but Anthem, yeah, it's I don't know how I feel about it. We also saw a little bit of Star Wars Battlefront 2.
I actually saw a decent amount of that.
Yeah, we saw a decent amount of this. So we saw some Rey and some Darth Maul, and I think Yoda was on there somewhere.
Yeah, it looked really neat. But so did
Yeah.
the first one.
So did the first one. Yeah, I think that the hang up for people with Battlefront is not so much that the gameplay looks cool, but will it work functionally in multiplayer, and will there be a variety of maps? Will it be interesting? Will I care?
I think the big thing now is they have a single player campaign, which we didn't see anything of. But
Yeah, that is a great addition. I'm glad they listened to player feedback on that because that was something that came up a lot even in the first 30 days of this game. Yeah, well, now there's Battlefront 2, and I guess it's kind of weird that it's so soon too. I feel like we just got Battlefront 1. Was it less than 2 years ago? Like Christmas 2015,
yeah, I mean,
fall 2015.
that's about normal for EA.
Yeah.
That's actually a long development cycle for EA.
I mean, it just feels like it just happened. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, they did announce that the DLC for this game will be free, which we'll see how long that lasts.
Will that entail some kind of maps and?
Yeah. For a while, probably. That's what they mean by that.
You know, and I think that it makes sense to release a Star Wars game this year, just timing wise, because we're gonna get another movie. It is, you know, it's time. You might as well. Let's do it. Capitalize on that Disney money.
I mean, the game looked great, but again, I'm skeptical about anything EA.
Yeah, and I think we all should be. This next one too, I didn't think too much of. Way Out. So you're playing as.
You didn't like this one?
I don't know. I had some mixed feelings about it. If there's a good story to it, it could be great. But the gameplay just looked like your typical action adventure kind of game. You know, parkour. You know, I don't know.
It's a co-op game, so it's just like Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which is it's the same developer. So you kind of control two characters at once if you were playing single player, or you could have a friend join in and
split screen and
play with that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I watched some of this on silent without sound, so I might have missed the nuances of that. It looks okay. I don't know. If the story is there, then this might be good.
I thought it looked really good. I thought it was probably the best thing they've shown at the conference, which isn't saying too much, to be honest. But
yeah, it's a game that's going to have some heart finally, right? From EA, so maybe it is the best thing here.
And it's the only one that anyone see. The only time that they brought the developer on, it's the only time anyone seemed excited at the EA conference, including the audience.
Well, that's great. I missed a lot of that in between stuff, like the clapping, because I watched an abridged version. They also announced Need for Speed Payback. We had kind of already heard about this one before the conference as well. It's more Need for Speed. They announced Battlefield 1 DLC. That game's how old is that game now? What was that? This past fall.
Yeah, I think that was last year.
All right. We're gonna get new DLC for that. Cool.
Yeah, it's for the Eastern Front, the Russian stuff.
And then
it's called In the Name of the Czar.
Name of the Czar. All right. That makes sense, right? That's all around. That's World War I stuff, right? So.
Yeah.
Keeping it in the theme there. Good for them. And of course, like we already mentioned, they talked about FIFA and Madden and NBA Live and yada 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 yada. All this great stuff. All right, so the more interesting of the two conferences that we've seen so far, and there's some coming up this evening, yes? It's coming up this evening. I had the schedule up and I accidentally closed it.
We have Bethesda coming at midnight Eastern.
All right.
And the Devolver Digital coming at 1 a.m. Eastern. Why did these two conferences scheduled at this time? I have no idea.
Yeah, like what about this time, dinner time? Like.
Yeah, it would have been fine for Saturday, I think, but it's an awful time for everybody, really.
We're all going to catch these tomorrow morning on our lunch break because they're an hour long. So I'll get to watch at least one of them. I'll probably be more interested in the Bethesda one just because, I don't know, I feel like they hit it big the first year and then it's been so great. But it's hard to top a year where you talk about Fallout 4, so or an Elder Scrolls game, and they're definitely not talking about that. So and Doom, yeah, I mean, there's so many great things. And last year, what was it? Prey they talked about for like a good long time.
Yeah, Prey. I wouldn't even say a good long time. They showed some Prey off and Prey released, and it didn't sell very well. But I thought Prey looked pretty good, but it did pretty well critically.
So we'll talk about Xbox. So Microsoft has announced the Xbox One X. So they just like putting letters at the end of Xbox is what they're doing.
Yep, it now has 3 X's in it, so it could be called Triple X.
It could be called the Triple X. The next one will be Xbox One X or X2. They'll take a page out of Square Enix's book. Who knows?
Dumbass names.
So they threw a lot of tech stuff out. 384-bit memory bandwidth, blah, blah, blah. Basically, it sounded like it had a 1080 Ti in it, basically, is kind of what I got out of it. It's got a vapor cooling chamber, which one of the models of the 1080 Ti has as well. Most console gamers don't give a fuck about that. What they're waiting for is someone to translate that into plain English for them, which is, I think, why they do that at the conference, because someone's going to be like, listen, it does betters, okay? And that's why.
Yeah, how many teraflops is this machine do?
6 something, I don't know. No one cares. But they gave us a price point at the end of the conference. I guess they thought that we were all waiting on bated breath. Hint, we weren't. Because we knew it was $499 because Jeff Keighley had spoiled that, unfortunately, prior to the conference.
Which is an awful price. You're going to lose.
Yeah, so let's talk about that price. To me, in a world where your console right now is trying to push a lot of cross-play, and you're really heavily invested on growing your PC stuff, with AMD out there putting out really superb price points for stuff, you are almost directly competing with the PC at this point. I know that's not realistic because there's going to be people who don't want to fiddle with a PC, as they say, or whatever. But PCs become more and more user-friendly every year, and Windows 10 has certainly made things about as dumb-proof as you can get. I don't know that that's a great price point, especially compared to the PS4 Pro being, what, $100 less right now?
Yeah, and it'll be even cheaper by the time the Xbox One X release. I have a problem saying that name because it's so stupid.
You think Sony's going to tank it down to $349? Maybe they even announce that tomorrow?
Yeah, I think they might take it down.
Yeah, it's reasonable. I mean, the price point for the technology is quite justifiable. I think if Core Contingency was here, he would probably agree with that. This is a machine that they're talking about doing native 4K. We're not talking about checkerboard rendering like the PS4 Pro does, and also still does the great downscaling for 1080p. It's a very powerful machine. It's going to do native 4K. We're showing right now Forza Motorsport 7, which they showed at the conference, and if you had a 4K TV and were watching a stream, which was being streamed in 4K, you probably got a lot of eye candy. Because this thing looks really impressive. It looks super impressive. And to know that it's running on 60 FPS with very few hitches that were noticeable in the gameplay. Good on you, Microsoft. You made the most powerful console, but you also made the most expensive console. So people are going to vote with their wallets, hypothetically, I guess, when it comes around to, what, October is the release date?
Yeah, I think so.
October 13, something like that. I think it was mid-October or so.
I just don't. I mean, the price is the important thing, and there's no way they're gonna be able to compete with the PS4 Pro. People are just gonna go out and buy a Pro if they want a 4K looking system. I mean, even if the Scorpio looks slightly better, which it will, I don't think people are willing to pay almost double the price at that point for another console that doesn't have exclusives either. I mean, you could play all these on PC. Yeah. Most of the people who have that money are gonna have most of the people who have that money and have a 4K TV to actually play things in 4K already have a decent PC setup. I mean, there's not many people. I don't think at least that are gonna really go for this system.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a 4K gaming machine and you don't currently own something, this seems like a pretty good buy for the price point. if you're not someone who's already invested in the PlayStation ecosystem, or deeply involved in the PC ecosystem, maybe you are, maybe you have a Nintendo, like, and you're looking for a really great console. $500 not being compared to anything else for something that's ready out of the box, HDMI cable into my TV, is a good deal, I think, on paper. But when you look at what's out there to compare it to, it kind of loses a bit of its value. And great graphics aren't everything, and I think Xbox is sort of losing themselves in the race. It's like they're running a race against themselves here, is what I think they're doing, because as much as they try to tout native 4K, true HD 4K, which they emphasized, every time they said 4K, they put an adjective in front of it, because they're trying to differentiate and tell the consumer that we're better than PlayStation, but people care about games. They don't care about graphics so much.
Also, can we talk about how silly it is to start every trailer with 4K on it in the beginning?
Yeah.
Because that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Please stop doing that.
Yep. They're really, really trying to push it.
Yeah, that's like people. That's like if back in the days they would show like 64-bit or 128-bit.
Yes, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. I was thinking the same thing.
We get it. It's 4K. It looks like 4K.
We get it. It's got pretties. We know. It's cool, man. They showed off some great games. They showed off Metro Exodus in 4K. They showed off Assassin's Creed Origins. They had a bit of a lengthy play for that, which was cool. My wife was watching that with me on the couch, and she's a big Assassin's Creed fan, and she kind of got burned out too. So she was glad Ubisoft took a year off. I think this Assassin's Creed looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I thought so too. It obviously has some historical inaccuracies to it.
Yeah, as they're gonna.
But yeah, I think this looked good. I think Metro looked great too. I didn't know what that game was at first.
The gas mask stuff gave it away. If you played did you play Metros at all? Did you play any?
No.
Yeah, if you played any Metro games, you would have figured it out right away. Because the gas mask being broken and stuff is a big deal. You have to pick up new gas masks and stuff throughout the game. Kind of like your life bar, almost. It starts cracking and shit. You can't be exposed to the poison radiation that's outside. But this game's, I think they're taking a different direction with Metro, because she took off the gas. The character took off the gas mask at the end of that trailer, so that's really interesting and cool. So perhaps they've reached the promised land that they've been talking about in that series. I know Papa's big in that series. I only played 2033. I didn't play Last Light. Just kind of wasn't me. But going back to the whole Steam thing, that is one of the games that I played about 3 years ago or so, and I get suggestions in my Steam queue for FPS style games, and also because I played Doom recently, I guess, because of that. And I don't typically play those games. They're like once in a blue moon for me. I didn't actually enjoy Metro that much, to be honest.
But algorithms, man.
But algorithms. No, the algorithms are working great. They're just not working great for me.
For me either, so.
Well, you gotta stop playing those pervy games and those fighters, man. That's all they're gonna tell you. So we saw PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. That's a game that's currently in early access. This game has really been taking the internet by storm. It is all over Twitch all the time. It's hard to miss if you are any kind of gamer. That's coming to Xbox. I can't imagine that's going to have crossplay. In fact, I can guarantee you it's not going to have crossplay right now.
You should mention it's PlayerUnknown Battleground, in case you've never heard of it.
I thought I said that.
Or Players Unknowns. No, you never said the name.
All right. Yeah, PlayerUnknown Battleground, yeah. Really cool concept of a game. It's basically a battle royale, a movie, in a video game. And you cannot... just go check it out for yourself. If you like slaughter people mindlessly, if you like that kind of thing, like to do it in a competitive environment. If you were the kind of guy who played DayZ or any of the million iterations of survival crafting games that are all in early access now and forever, this is sort of the evolution, I think, of that, which is sort of sad that games that are in early access have evolved into other games in early access. But that's basically what this game, that's the kind of crowd this game attracts.
I think this is basically... I think that they took the idea from H1Z1 with the Battle Royale mode they had. And H1Z1 is a terrible game. I do not recommend anyone play it. This doesn't look nearly as terrible. So, I've watched this game played. It looks pretty solid for what it is.
Yeah, I will say it's intense to watch. And if you're playing it, I imagine it's probably even more intense to get into. We saw a game called Deep Rock Galactic. I didn't know too much. That was kind of a come and go kind of game, right?
Yeah, it looked like some type of Minecraft-ish game with voxels, destructible environments. But I think it was a bit more serious. It like had a kind of Warhammer feel to it.
Yeah, it didn't interest me at all.
Yeah, it was kind of whatever.
Then we saw State of Decay 2, which looked really bad.
This game looks bad. The animation looks terrible. Like there was parts where characters were talking, their lips were not animated at all.
It was so noticeable too. But yeah, just janky animation
and
stuff.
Zombies. Do we need more zombie games?
Yeah, no, we don't. And I'm pretty sure we named 2 episodes ago, the name of our podcast was No More Zombies, Please, or something like that. So we agree we don't need any more zombies. You should all agree we don't need any more zombies as well.
Fortunately, developers are not agreeing with that. Because we're going to see a lot of zombies.
Are not agreeing with us, it's true. We saw the Darwin Project, which looked like it's trying to be Overwatch.
Speaking of shit we don't need, MOBAs
oh man. And they went from this like really innocent looking trailer that kind of like felt like a, I don't know, Battleborn in the beginning, where it's like this animated trailer going on, to all of a sudden cutting into this like esports announcer going through what the hell was going on. It was just the most jarring transition in this entire conference. This was right up there for me with the Porsche thing. Like, they're gonna bring on a Porsche. Yep, there's the Porsche. To what the fuck just happened? There's a guy announcing the gameplay now. What? Why? Who knows? Yeah, I agree with you. We don't need it. We don't need any more of these. We need to stop trying to push these on us. The people have spoken. They play Overwatch. They might play Paladins when it comes out, just because of Cliffy B. I don't know that they're gonna play.
You mean Lawbreakers?
Lawbreakers, that one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think Lawbreakers is going to do well. I think Lawbreakers is probably headed to the same fate as all these other games like Battleborn.
Yeah, it might be. We heard them talk about Minecraft being unified across all platforms. I think that's a project that has been a long time coming for them. So we'll see how that goes. I think this was the most impressive thing in the show for me. I had heard that it was announced already previous to this, and I knew that it was ArcSys, but to see it is believing. Apparently, there's a Dragon Ball Fighter Z game being made by the Guilty Gear BlazBlue guys, and that is sick. This game looks legitly amazing.
I don't know anything about Dragon Ball.
Me neither.
This game looks like I really want to play this game.
It looks so good.
It's ridiculous.
So good. Like, wow. Who knew Dragon Ball Z could look this amazing in 2.5D fighter? I think just about every Dragon Ball Z game up to this point has been some like campy kind of adventure game that is very niche for the people who actually like the genre.
It's been like a lock-on fighting game, like Dissidia and Gundam games, and there's a lot of games like that. All the other anime games are pretty much like that, like One Piece.
This is great. This is just amazing. So
yeah,
this is going to be a game that's going to go to Evo, right? Evo quality fighters, AAA.
I mean, it's Arc Systems work, so you could bet they're gonna have some pretty complex fighting mechanics in there that might be good for esports. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have a good system. They announced Black Desert is coming to Xbox as well. Black Desert Online, it's an MMO. It's been around for what, like 4 years now, 3 years now. It's been around for a while.
Yeah, a few years. I don't
Korean
think
MMO grinder. They just had like a really big overhaul or patch of that game too, I think within the past 6 months. So it looks good, and they're doing a 4K version of it for the Xbox. So cool. MMOs are always good. I don't know how well they translate necessarily to consoles, but they are there. We don't have a video of this one, and putting a GIF up on the stream, this one's kind of small. This game's worth mentioning because it looked really, really good. And it's called The Last Night. It kind of looks like a cyberpunky film noir kind of game. Is that description right, you think?
Yeah, and it has I think it's a side scroller of some sort, and it has a pixel art retro 2D look, but it's one of those games that does pixel art really well.
Yeah, It looks really amazing art style wise. So if you want to hear what we're talking about, check it out. It's called The Last Night. What I'm throwing up now is called The Artful Escape. Cappy was blowing girl loads about this one on the podcast as well.
I don't understand this.
I don't see it either. It kind of looks like a Double Fine game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Double Fine. I think this is like some autistic white guy's fantasy to be rude.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, it's like what this is an artsy indie game made for to stroke the developer's ego, to be honest.
Yeah.
And this fantasy or whatever.
There's a few of these ID at Xbox games that they put on here. That was definitely one of them. Bandai Namco put up a trailer for Code Vein, which
we saw that. It looks good.
Looked at this before. It's basically Dark Souls or a Dark Souls-esque style fighting game.
Anime.
I'll throw this one up on the stream, and I will put it at a point where you will understand what I'm saying, so that you can see it. I think it's wonderful though that all Bandai Namco needs to do is show you a single player person or character fighting against a giant monster with a long ass pole arm in a really stylistically slow and calculated combat environment, to be like, oh, so it's like Dark Souls. It just, there's like a switch that clicks on now. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying it's very telegraphed.
Yeah, this one has a particularly more anime aesthetic to it.
It does, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a little more Japanesey.
Japanesey, yeah.
More anime-y, for sure. We saw a very long trailer too for Sea of Thieves. This is a game people have been talking about for a while. I watched it. I thought it was neat and charming, but
I thought it was boring.
I don't know what it's supposed to be.
It didn't look like any of that was really exciting gameplay. The person playing it had really bad aim too, which which pisses me off to no end. Seeing a trailer played by, or gameplay footage or whatever, played by somebody who can't shoot a gun correctly.
Oh.
I mean, I know they're on console, so obviously.
Yeah, they're on console. I'm just not quite sure what this game's supposed to be. I've heard multiplayer lobbies.
I think it's like an exploration game of some sort. I don't know if there's PP in it or whatnot. I don't know what kind of depth this game has. I really don't know anything about this game, and what they showed did not look interesting to me at all.
Yeah, it didn't look super interesting either to me. Yeah, I kind of started looking at my phone during this trailer because it was 10 minutes long. But yeah, if you want to be a pirate in some kind of multiplayer environment where it's unsure if things are persistent, I don't know if it's an MMO or it's just an objective-based adventure game. It's hard to know. We finally got a release date for Tacoma, which is August 2nd. For any of those who care, that is a game that we only previously saw, I think, a teaser trailer for. I want to say.
And we got another terrible trailer for it.
Yes, this is another kind of meh trailer.
This is not how you announce indie games. I mean, we don't know anything about your game. Don't make it more obscure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a walking simulator or what.
A puzzle game?
Puzzle game, yeah.
Is it an action game? I have no idea. Is it a simulation game?
Yeah, it's super ambiguous as to what it is. The next one was weird. So they announced Super Lucky's Tale. Wasn't this a VR
game? Yeah, this is the original Oculus. You got it free with Oculus purchase.
They decided to make it a 3D platformer.
Yeah, or was a 3D platformer.
Calling it Super Lucky's Tale, so it's coming on the SNES, I guess, as well as the Xbox.
I think ukulele kind of shows that maybe these games are a little outdated, and
yeah.
Maybe people don't really want them. They think they want them, but they think they want a new Banjo-Kazooie or a new Conker's for a Day, which I thought this game originally was. Young Conker.
Yeah. I think some people were talking about Bubsy possibly being around, but.
Oh, Bubsy! They actually announced that, but I didn't put it on I didn't even put it on our document because it looks so bad.
All right. All right, so yeah, PUBG. We didn't cover that. Now we did. We saw a trailer for Cuphead finally, and we got a release date for that as well. That's a game that people are really in love with the art style of that game. It's like the old 20s, 30s, old timey cartoon kind of animation. Looks really neat. What is the character in this game from? I can't remember.
What do you mean?
Wasn't Cuphead like in another game of some kind, and this is like a he's being
I
rolled
don't
out
think
for the
so.
game? No,
I don't know. Maybe. I've never heard that before.
All right, I'm just going crazy then, perhaps. Terry Crews yelled at everybody to announce Crackdown 3. This was odd. It's been a while since I've seen a Crackdown game.
This was very cringeworthy, in my opinion.
It's a little over the
it was
top.
just like, and then the trailer was awful. Like they had so many different, what do you call it, collages or whatever on it that I couldn't tell what the hell was going on. All I saw was shooting, shooting, shooting. Okay, that's great. I want to see actual gameplay. I don't want to see that whatever they did with that trailer.
Yeah, it just looked kind of weird. They basically stopped the conference at this point and did a long-ass montage of all the independent games that are coming for Xbox through the ID at Xbox program. A couple of these games we've already seen. Paladins was one that was on there.
A lot of them was already on PC too.
Yeah, a lot of them are. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, so we mentioned it was on there. So there was a few. There was maybe like a dozen or so games that they just showed off briefly.
Yeah, I've never seen that Unruly Heroes game. That was interesting.
Yeah, I imagine we get more of these games to come soon. Maybe some of them are on the floor.
Yeah, we'll probably talk more about them later. Some of them.
Look forward to talking about some of these. Some of these caught my eye for sure. Fable Fortune was one that my wife was like, "Oh my god," because she loves Fable. I don't know why, but she does. Yeah, so those are those, and then we got a trailer for Ashen. All we've seen is a teaser for this one as well, right? I think this is the first gameplay we actually saw for Ashen.
Yeah, I don't remember ever talking about this one. So
this is interesting. Like the art style to me is strange. Like no one has a face or whatever. I don't know if that's part of the storyline or whatnot. Or yeah, this one is interesting. It looks like kind of like an action adventure mystery kind of game.
Again, we didn't see much gameplay of this, so
we didn't see a lot.
Interested in seeing actual gameplay before I make a judgment on this. But it does look interesting. It caught me at my attention.
Sort of wonder what it's about overall. Like, what's the story going on here with Ashen?
Yeah, and the animation is pretty good.
Yeah, I like this. This is a cool looking game. Almost reminds me of playing. I don't know why. It reminds me of playing Alone in the Dark way back in the day. Maybe that's just me. We saw the Life is Strange prequel game actually Before the Storm. It was announced, so we got a trailer for that.
I'm kind of confused about this one. Like, you're playing as Chloe, right? If anyone played the original Life is Strange,
I did not.
So she doesn't have that time warp mechanic, or you could turn back time. I think the game's going to be significantly less interesting without that mechanic.
I like know nothing about this.
Unless they find some way to pigeonhole that mechanic into the game, which will be weird.
Maybe they do. Do you think it's strange as someone who played, Life is Strange, that the follow-up to this game was a prequel rather than a sequel? Or do you think that sort of fits in with the time travel sort of idea behind the game?
I mean, I don't know. Chloe's not really a very good character, in my opinion. So I'm just kind of really iffy on this one. I really like Life is Strange. I think this is from being developed by a different studio as well.
Oh, it's not Don't Nod?
Not Don't Nod. I think they're working on Vampires, so different developers on this one.
That's interesting. The IP changing hands like that could being developed by Deck 9, it seems. All right, I'm gonna switch over to trailer. Middle of this one. Saw a bit more stuff on Shadow of War, Middle-earth Shadow of War. It's really nothing we haven't seen already. They did some pretty lengthy gameplay stuff on YouTube already, showing off the fortress battles and the domination. Like, just the stuff that if you played the original game, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, you know what's going on here. It's an Assassin's Creed game kind of gameplay that does it a little better than Assassin's Creed, I think, in terms of the combat. But it really just boils down to a game where there's 1,000 different ways you can kill orcs, which makes it kind of bland.
Well, I mean, and those orcs all have different capabilities and grudges, and they have their own personalities and whatnot. So,
yeah,
which it does really well. The game does really well. The Nemesis system was fantastic in the first one.
Totally was. I agree 100%. I think it was great. I think that they're really carrying that over in a big way here and expanding on it. I just wonder about its complexity because it's pretty complex. I listened to Jeff Gersman talk a little bit about this. He's got his hands on this one before Judges Week even, and I felt like what he was saying and looking at the gameplay stuff on YouTube, I'm like, man, this might be going a little too far off the rails for me, or maybe it's too on the rails, going too fast. Adding a lot to this game, I think, and
I don't know if complexity is really an issue for me on games. I mean, if it was really bad, like maybe like some of those flight sims are a bit over the top on complexity.
What I mean is complexity for complexity's sake. You know, like the thought that we're going to make the system better by making it more complex, and then you don't necessarily make it better by making it more complex. You just make it more confusing. That's what I kind of feel like when I look through the menus and stuff that they show here. Like, wow, there's a lot here, and really a lot of this information is just stuff that I'm probably not going to care that much about.
So, like Japanese RPGs.
Yes, like my character doesn't need to have a dexterity stat that I don't know what it does, but it goes up level every time. I just know that it's there. Like, yeah, this game, I don't know. I'm gonna pick it up. I'm sad that it got pushed back, but I was planning on playing this after Pillars, but between Divinity Original Sin, before it rather, and now I'm not going to get to do that, so I guess I'll be playing in October. For those who loved Ori and the Blind Forest, there is a fault. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Game looks great, just like the last one, stylistically. So yeah, there's your PSA right there.
Not even just stylistically, it's great from the amount of technical standpoint.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful game. Kind of wish I played the first one. I've been meaning to. My best bud Brad, he told me I should pick it up. I haven't. I don't know why. I just haven't. Guess I'm worried what kind of recommendation Steam's going to give me if I play a game like that. Be like, you don't play games like this. What are you doing? All right, so that leaves us with well, not quite yet. So they announced that they're going to be adding original Xbox games to the backwards compatibility program. People were very excited about that. They mentioned in particular Crimson Skies. I wasn't a big X-Pro, so I don't know how happy that would make me normally if I'd heard that. So is that like a huge game on Xbox other than Halo? I mean, is it that big?
I don't know.
We were talking like
on an original Xbox, but
like 15 plus years ago, right? So.
Yeah, so it was. I did on the original Xbox, but I mostly played titles that were available. I did play Halo, but I did play other titles that were mostly available on both systems. It's just I went with Xbox at the time.
Well, people apparently busted a nut when they heard Crimson Skies.
Yeah, I mean
that's cool.
People
that's good
are
for
really
you.
excited for this backwards compatibility announcement. I'm pretty surprised. Again, it's going to be like the Xbox One, where developers kind of have to switch it on. They need to decide whether they want their games to be backwards compatible or not. And there's a lot of greedy developers out there that won't do it, but that's a whole nother story. So
yes, definitely an ongoing story. They snuck in the $4.99 price point at this point, and then they closed off by showing us a bit about Anthem. Really a lot about Anthem, actually. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about this game. I mean, after playing Andromeda, I'm kind of not that high on BioWare right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I mean, this looks a lot like Destiny.
Yeah.
Like if Destiny were better, in a sense.
Destiny was better, like in one way, like graphically.
But I'm just worried about the combat. The combat, just what they showed at combat wasn't like anything impressive.
No, it wasn't. It definitely was not impressive. It looks like Andromeda combat. It's kind of meh. I mean, to the point where even reusing animations in this game. Like at one point, the guy in the big red armor slams the ground and all the enemies go flying. That's Nova that you use in Mass Effect Andromeda. So, it just looks like they're reutilizing some Frostbite assets here.
Certainly the prettiest looking game, though.
Yep, it's got jump jets. I mean, yeah, the environments are definitely kicked up quite a few notches from Andromeda, but it just feels and looks like that game.
But pretty games can have a lot of limitations in terms of like the size and scale of everything. So that worries me too. I mean, that this is so graphically impressive isn't really gonna, and it's not gonna be like it should be open world. I mean, so it looks like it's a multiplayer game actually.
Yes, it looks like it's gonna be multiplayer.
And I believe this is announced as a freemium game. Which is also just kind of one of those red flags.
Yeah, I just wonder if a lot of that's coming from EA saying this is how we want to roll out this kind of IP. This is what we want to do with it. Yeah, I guess we're both kind of confused on where it fits in the market as far as who does this game appeal to? Who's going to buy into it? What are the better elements? Is it going to have a single player story? Is it going to be all multiplayer? Is multiplayer going to be good? What is the freemium going to be? I don't know. I guess we'll know more as we go along. Maybe it'll turn out to be just like Destiny. Maybe that's what they're going for. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in it for sure, but I need to see more of this. I'm not gonna go and pre-order for sure. Just gonna wait and see on this one.
All right.
Like Mass Effect.
Yeah, just like Mass Effect. Well, you were going to wait on that one.
Yeah, I wasn't going to. I initially pre-ordered it, then I'm like, I heard some bad things, so I'm like, let me go ahead and cancel my pre-order, which I rarely do. Usually I'll just whatever. I'll just stay with it, like I did with Equality and our shit.
It wasn't a bad. It wasn't a terrible game. This wasn't Mass Effect.
I don't have time to play a game that's just not just okay right now.
You have to play Persona 5. I get it. There's a lot going on in that world. All right, so what the hell is Nintendo doing? Because I have zero interest in talking about them, so you're gonna have to tell me.
So we did have a couple rumors here. This is just a rumor section since we don't know anything about these conferences really, except Bethesda, which has pretty much been the whole conference has been leaked. But we got Nintendo. They did mention that there will be free. Now this isn't necessarily a conference, but they said in their live stream schedule there will be free unspecified games. I think the big predictions are Super Smash Bros. Switch, which who knows if that's going to be a port of the previous Super Smash Bros. Or
like how Mario Kart was, kinda.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a new game, but we'll see. Pikmin World, which we don't know anything about really, and Dragon Quest 11, which we've seen a lot of footage of.
I think Smash Brothers is a good one. I think Pikmin's another good one. That's definitely a name people like. I don't know about Dragon Quest so much. 11, I don't know anything about that game in particular.
Dragon Quest is it's up there with Final Fantasy in Japan, since they haven't released a lot of them in the US for whatever reason. Square Enix doesn't like money sometimes.
That's true. Like they're allergic to money sometimes. Who knows? Okay, so yeah, you said the Bethesda conference was mostly spoiled. At least these are rumors, so don't take these at face value. But
this is almost 100% confirmed.
Well, we don't want to say that until absolutely sure. But Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, was listed on Amazon and was it taken down already?
I don't know if it was actually taken down. I'm not sure.
I don't remember if it was taken down, but that popped up.
And this was also rumored before. I think we talked about in the last podcast.
Yes, we did mention that.
Both of these were actually rumored.
Evil Within 2, I don't know, man. Someone asked,
Yeah, I think there's more evidence on that one coming out too. I didn't link the article though.
There was a sale recently that included Evil Within on PlayStation, I believe. Because a friend of mine at work asked me on Wednesday or Thursday, sometimes a week, about whether it was a good game, and I was sitting there explaining to him, like, well, you know, it was okay, but it was like a really bad roller coaster ride. It started, it stopped, it introduced new characters in the middle of the game. It was unclear who the antagonist was exactly. And they introduced some new bad guys, and you're kind of like, are these the bad guys? What's the storyline here? What's the hook? Why am I doing this? I stopped playing it at some point. I think I was about 3/4 of the way in. And I had a conversation with an IGC member, Night Striker, about this. And yeah, he kind of agreed with me that that game was really kind of weird, kind of bad. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to Evil Within 2. I don't know who would be.
I don't think many people are.
That game, I don't think that game even sold or reviewed well, right?
Yeah, it didn't review well. It didn't really sell well. I mean, it sold all right, I guess. It wasn't that great though.
Make it a sequel. Yeah. Okay. Maybe this is one of those things where, you know, Bethesda had some. This is like one of the original teams of what, Resident Evil, right? The original creator or whatever was involved in Evil Within or something like that.
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe they just had him signed on for 2 games regardless, and that's what they're doing. That's why they're doing this. Because I can't see justifying a sequel for a game like this that did this poorly. If this was a Square Enix game, developed game, I don't think they would have, you know, flagged a green lighted a sequel for this one. Hell, I wouldn't have. And some game called Starfield has also been rumored. I don't know dick about this game.
This is an open world sci-fi game based on the Fallout universe.
Okay, so we're gonna find out
and
more about this tonight.
Apparently. Yeah, so in theory, if the rumor's true, this one's a little bit more iffy, I think.
Okay. And some Fallout stuff. Or
VR
stuff.
We'll probably still see VR, Doom VR, and Fallout VR they did announce. So hopefully we'll see some more about that in the conference.
They seem pretty high on that stuff last year, too. Talking about,
maybe not so much, though.
We want to do this, we want to do that.
Seems to be a lot of developers that are off the VR bandwagon now.
Well, that's what I was saying to you the other day, and you were like, "Nah, man, VR is like super popular."
I think PSVR is doing really well, actually.
I would agree. Yeah, the PSVR is doing okay.
In terms of sales, I think though, again, I said VR is lacking a lot of big games. Developers just aren't developing for VR, and there's a lot of reasons for that, of course, because the player base is smaller, is one of the obvious ones. So there's a few VR games I'm looking forward to, but not as much as like just regular games, obviously. So I want to see more VR, I really do, but I think that developers maybe aren't as on board, and we're going to have to wait another generation before we see VR really taking off.
Yeah, and I can understand.
Speaking of VR.
Yeah, I can understand your desire because you're someone who bought in. In fact, I am really the only guy who does the podcast here who hasn't bought into VR in any kind of way. And I don't regret that so much. So
Seifer doesn't have VR either.
Oh no, he doesn't. Okay.
No.
Seifer is an MMO player. He doesn't need VR.
I think there will be a point where you're gonna buy into VR. I think it'll come at some point. Mm-hmm.
There's a time. I mean, I don't need another monitor anytime soon, unless I go to 4K, which I doubt. Oh wow, I like my 1440p. I'm happy.
And there eventually will be a cheaper VR solution on the market.
Yes, I think that is what keeps me away from it right now. It's just the price point for something that isn't like, here's an amazing list of games that I want to play right now. It just doesn't exist. Also, I don't approach games like that, so I don't know. Some rumors from Sony.
Is there any other expectations for Bethesda?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, no,
Elder Scrolls Online? I think they're announcing something with that.
I don't want to hear any more about Elder Scrolls Online. You know, they were pushing the Morrowind expansion big time over the past month or so. I got a lot of emails about that from Green Man Gaming. Popped up on Steam. Because I do own Elder Scrolls Online. I played it for maybe like 15 hours, and then I was like, maybe not even 15 hours. That might be a lie. It's okay. It didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the free announcements we just talked about are the big announcements, and that it's going to be a lot of really boring shit nobody cares about.
Yeah, Maybe that's why it's at midnight.
Maybe.
No one cares about it. I don't know. So, what was rumored from Sony here? Does this have anything to do with VR?
We're gonna see some more Ace Combat 7 for sure. So VR,
Okay.
VR. Yeah, of course we'll see more VR. Sony, I think they announced that they're gonna show a lot of VR stuff too. And I'm sure a lot of people aren't happy about that. I know a lot of people don't like seeing VR games in the conference. They think it's a waste of time because they don't own VR and they haven't tried VR and they don't know how awesome VR is.
Well, I mean, I can meet them halfway. I don't think it's a waste of time, but I certainly think that with how difficult those games are to show off at the conference, one might speculate or say or presume that it is possibly not the best use of their time to show off a lot of those games.
I do agree. I don't think VR should take up a huge amount of time. I think a lot of these developers need to start making games for both. So you have like Resident Evil 7, which you could play without VR, and you could play it in VR, and the VR enhances the experience greatly. But you could still play the game and enjoy it outside VR. I think that's a big way to keep your game selling and possibly sell more units because you made the game for VR. Well, I think Resident Evil 7 is a very good example of that.
I agree with you 100%, but I think that the overarching concept or strategy that the VR companies went into with things is that this is a platform rather than it being a monitor and an experience, because we know that it's just a fucking monitor. I could play any game through VR that had a first-person perspective. It would be best to do that. But really, I could play any game like that, you know? But they pushed it as a platform, and they didn't push it the way that it was just a piece of hardware that was an add-on to things. And I think that they now are foot and mouth dealing with that and having to design games that are just that. And I think we've talked many, many times in the past, there's only so many games that they can do that way before you run out of ideas.
Yeah, and I mean, Ace Combat 7 is another example of a game that's going to be for both VR and normal PS4. And this is a game that people are buying solely for VR. So you're getting extra sales from VR. And it probably didn't take as much effort to make it just VR compatible. I mean, it probably did cost some development, but I think that they're going to probably recoup that.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's just no reason some of these big games shouldn't be VR compatible as well. I do want to see original VR experience as well. Games like Static, which is a puzzle game that does really well in VR because of the way it's set up. I recommend looking at trailers for that if you're not sure what I mean by that. It would be really hard to describe, but the things it does with that you can only do in VR is impressive. Of course, games. Of course, you have simulator type games would be really good, including dating simulators or people interaction simulators, walk-in simulators.
Yeah, those games are fundamentally different experiences in VR.
And I think what we're seeing, like I talk about it all the time, but I think what we see a whole bunch of round shooters, and that's what we get, and that's what we have to deal with right now. And it's kind of sad that people aren't using VR as they're not using the medium well.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why it doesn't impress me at all.
Yeah, I guess we should go back to talking about Sony because I went a little off tangent there.
That's okay. So there's a rumor that Crash Bandicoot Remaster might be shown off too. That's awesome. This is a rumor we've been hearing since last year. People were asking for Crash Bandicoot.
I'm saying it's very likely it'll be shown off. There's a rumor of a possible new Crash Bandicoot game.
Okay,
yeah.
Lots of nerd boners were struck just now.
And again, I think this is maybe something that people are asking for and they don't really want. Because that gameplay is really outdated in those platformers.
It totally is. Yeah, it really, really is.
If you want to see what a modern platformer should play like, look at the new Super Mario game. That's. I hope Crash Bandicoot plays like that if they do make a remaster.
Yeah.
I mean, or a new game. I mean,
we've seen a lot of innovative platforms. I think the one that I was personally pretty high on, as far as looking at, was Flint Hook. I mean, that game's kind of like a platformer too. There's a lot of stuff that just out there that really the genre has grown largely since the days of PS1. So maybe these are games that developers are sort of missing the target on. I hear a lot of people say, we want this, we want this. Maybe they don't want it. I think this is sort of what Final Fantasy VII Remaster is also going to be. A big fucking flop. I think they want it. They really
I don't think it'll be a flop. Maybe critically.
I think it'll be critically. It will be bad.
It will be a success just because people will go out and buy it.
Yes, but
it's Final Fantasy VII.
I don't think it'll be great. I don't think it'll be as great as people think it's going to be. But another time, a conversation for a different time, I suppose. All right, so we got a lot of announcements and rumors. Right, I mean, Ubisoft hasn't. When does Ubisoft happen? Is that tomorrow?
I don't know. Tomorrow, maybe. Everything's happening tomorrow if you count the midnight.
Everything should be happening tomorrow.
Except Sony. Sony's Tuesday. I know Nintendo's near the end.
Yeah, so Ubisoft happens at 1 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, Monday, June 12, or 4 p.m. Eastern. Sony happens at 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, or 9 p.m. Eastern.
Wait, Sony's tomorrow, not Tuesday?
Sony is tomorrow, yep, at 9 p.m.
Okay.
According to GameSpot. And then Nintendo's doing their Nintendo Spotlight at 9 a.m. PST or noon on Tuesday. So I'll be able to watch Ubisoft probably on the way home. I'll have it in the car going. PC Gaming Show, if you're interested, also will be on Monday, June 12 at 1 p.m. Eastern or 10 a.m. Pacific. That one is usually just kind of a boring blah.
What time is Ubisoft again?
4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, so I will not be able to watch that. I will be at work. Sony I will watch.
Sony I'll definitely watch tomorrow.
And I'll, of course, try to catch up. I guess I'm going to spend my whole day watching conferences tomorrow.
Well, we got the Bethesda one to catch up to.
And Digital Devolver.
Yeah, that's interesting. The GameSpot doesn't even have them on the list here, but yeah, Digital Devolver's there.
1 a.m. now.
1 a.m. So. All right, we got a lot of rumors, debuts. I don't think we're going to have time to go through all of these games individually, but start off with Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Got another gameplay trailer. I think this one got a release date, right? It now has a release date. It's like October, I believe.
Did it have a release date? It's not October this year. I know that.
No. You are right. I am incorrect. It is coming in 2018, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all we know about it.
Actually, I think they announced 2019 on this one or something. It's not even close to being finished.
Let me explain something to you. All right, Iga Kogarashi, that's his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
2019 for this game is absurd. Don't tell me this game's coming out in 2019. No one's going to give a shit about this game by the time it comes out. If you release it 2 years from now, come on.
I think this one has a lot of potential to be good. Really good.
If it released yesterday.
I think in 2 years from now it'll be good. I mean, it's not like good gameplay.
Are we just talking about retro platformers, though? I mean,
yeah, but good gameplay holds up.
If it has good gameplay, sure. It might be okay.
I don't know. Maybe I am on the nostalgia train on this one.
Maybe. I think you might be, because I am not. And I played Castlevania 1 and I played Simon's Quest. I think it looks great. I think it visually looks super appealing, but I think 2 years from now we're going to be far less impressed by this. Just because something else will have come out that will just be better or different or whatever. This will just be like, oh, that game's finally coming out. Cool. Yeah, I kickstarted that. Awesome. My copy's coming in the mail. Something. Anyway, Capcom secured the trademark for Monster Hunter World. I don't know what that means exactly. It's there. We saw a video, an announcement trailer for a game called Laser League coming from 505 Games.
Terrible trailer.
I'll keep the trailer up if you want to watch it. Got a trailer for a game called Night Trap Anniversary Edition.
You know what Night Trap is, right?
Night Trap. This sounds familiar.
It's that FMV game on Sega CD, I think it was, or old Sega system of some sort, or maybe it was one of those old systems.
The name rings a bell, but I'm looking at the trailer now, and
I think it was on PC too.
It's
really old
not doing it
PCs
for me.
Yeah, it's an FMV game. Classic game that was pretty terrible.
There was
will still be terrible.
These were like the interesting days of gaming when we were talking about things like FMVs and laser discs, right? That's where this sort of comes out of.
Yeah, I mean, this game you just switch cameras around and you press buttons that trigger traps at the right time. It's basically a quick time events game,
The original.
but without the quick time event prompts.
All right. Yeah, no, this doesn't ring a bell for whatever reason. I know the
I
types
don't-
of games you're talking about, but this one specifically does not.
I think this is Kickstarted as well.
Maybe that's why it's kind of familiar to me. I might have seen it on Kickstarter.
Yeah, this is like a 25-year-old game.
A game based on the recent Mummy film, that's the new Tom Cruise one, is being made.
Yeah, that's the game. The movie's terrible, and the game will be terrible.
You think the movie's gonna be bad? Well, maybe.
The movie already is out. It's terrible.
Oh, it is. I don't. hell if I know. I've been living in a hole for the past week trying to do work. My wife was on vacation. We saw a trailer for Project Rap Rabbit. This is basically Rap the Rapper with rabbits.
From the same developer, yeah.
The same developer. Man, they just couldn't get off that note, huh? See
cheesy
what I did
as hell.
there? Note. Same note.
Yeah, and the guy, the developer is rapping to it. He said, they'll have real rappers in later, but
Oh boy, I'm looking forward to that.
it's pretty hilariously bad, Jar. The game looks bad, but it looks like it's so bad it's actually good type of game.
Yeah. We'll let Metacritic be the judge of that, I guess. I will stay away from this one. We saw a game called Black the Fall. I don't know what this game's about exactly. You'll have
It
to.
looks like kind of like a puzzle type game with maybe a little bit more action elements to it, side scrolly. What's that game called? The one from Limbo developers, the new one.
Oh, Inside?
Yeah, Inside. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, no, it looks just like
that.
that.
Yeah, stealth elements to it and puzzles, platforming.
I get the same vibe. We saw a trailer for Pure Farming 2018. I'm pretty sure you can all imagine what that is. It's probably
John Deere
farming simulator, but not. Maybe it is. I don't know.
It's a competitor to the farming simulator. It's not really much of a competitor, apparently.
All right.
Yeah, this one actually looks better than farming simulator from what I've seen, but
Graphically,
who knows? I'm not a farming person, so I don't really know which is better, which is worse.
Well, I mean, if this game has higher definition cows, then it probably looks better. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Can you go cow tipping?
Yet to be seen. Maybe that's DLC. Rain of Reflections was another game we saw a trailer for.
This game looks really neat. It's cyberpunk-ish, maybe. Yeah, it's got cyberpunk elements to it. It's an RPG of some sort.
All right.
Definitely keep an eye on this one. It looks interesting.
All right. We have, let's see, two quick ones, I guess. Bully 2 is likely to be revealed by, what you say, Sony tomorrow? Is that what that says?
Yep.
Eyes
I'm guessing it's Sony. Sony. It'll be revealed at the Sony conference because I can't think of any other conference it would fit into.
All right. And Shenmue 3 is delayed until late 2018. I'm not really surprised about that, to be honest.
No, I don't think anyone's surprised except maybe Chocobro. Who picked this game for some reason, and we were all kind of baffled by that.
I'm slightly surprised. These games always end up being big scope games, and they get pushed back.
Yeah, if it's a Kickstarter, you could bet it's going to be delayed.
You're watching the trailer for a game called Mille Noir? No, actually, you're not watching the trailer for Mille Noir. You're watching the trailer for Rain of Reflection. The trailer for Mille Noir is coming up now, and this is a pixel art noir mystery detective game, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Something like that. I mean,
it doesn't look very well done compared to, like, say, The Last Night we were talking about earlier.
yes, yeah, I'm with you on that one.
It's
a little more classic. I think.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be a good game. I don't know. It looks semi-interesting.
It's hard
I really like that
to
setting,
remember all of these games.
Yeah.
The trailers for like a minute. A Hat in Time we saw a trailer for.
Yeah, this game has been in development a really long time. This platformer, And again, it's another retro platformer, so it's like, is this going to be good? I don't really think so, but we'll see.
Who knows?
It definitely looks more interesting than, say, some of the ones we've been seeing, like Lucky's Tale.
Yeah, Lucky's Tale seems a bit more straightforward.
This one, yeah, you have different hats that power you up in different ways, so it's got a little bit of interesting elements to it.
A trailer for a game called Strange Brigade. Again, I don't know what this one's about.
It's based on 1930s, like maybe a co-op game of some sort. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah, and the trailer is like a silent film kind of trailer.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I think they did well with the trailer there, but I do want to see more actual gameplay of this. But yeah, it looks like some kind of co-op action game, maybe like Left 4 Dead survival game. To it, I mean, you're playing with 4 people, so I'm moderately interested in this. I want to see more of it.
All right. Dissidia Final Fantasy got announced for PS4. I'm not gonna put the trailer for that one.
That's a big deal. No, the trailer on.
Everyone knows what that is, man.
No, but I think a lot of people don't know what this is.
Who doesn't know what Dissidia is?
Okay, well, Cappy didn't know. I think
who's living under a rock?
Game?
Seriously, like
somebody didn't know. Somebody. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was Cappy or not. Somebody didn't know what it was.
This community that is either into anime or Square Enix games, and you don't know what the hell Dissidia Final Fantasy is. I am disappointed in you. When you listen to this recording, you hear me say this, you're going to send me a message and apologize for your behavior. That's ridiculous.
I think this was a big deal, though. I mean, this announcement. We knew it was coming eventually, right? But
yeah. So what was this on Vita only this far?
No, it was on arcades only. It was only on arcades.
Okay. Bring in the at-home console. It's getting that decision. Okay, great. All right. Trailer for a pretty neat game. It's a black and white kind of game called The End Is Nigh. That's pretty much all I know about it. I'll run the trailer here as we quickly move past Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux. Also got another trailer.
It's a remake of the 3DS game from 2011.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Super wonderful.
I mean, and then another dungeon RPG got announced. We got Etrian Odyssey 5 Beyond the Myth. These games always review super highly, this Etrian Odyssey type games. I believe they're considered the best RPGs. I don't have I do have a 3DS, but I haven't played any of them. I almost never played my 3DS. I don't even know where it is, actually.
It's over there somewhere.
Yeah, it's probably in the attic or something. But yeah, these are one of the most highly reviewed games of the series, so I'd imagine this one's going to be fantastic. So go pick it up if you like dungeon RPGs and have a 3DS.
All right. Outcast is getting a remake. And yeah, so if you like Outcast, it's coming back. And Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice got a gameplay trailer. Was it a gameplay trailer,
I mean, we haven't seen this game in like 3 years. I don't
even remember this game.
Oh, it was announced back when the PlayStation 4 released, and then it got like, I think we saw like one gameplay trailer a year later.
It went away for
then it went away for like 3 years, and now they're showing gameplay of it, and it looks great. I can't tell what's cinematic and what's not, though. And I think that was the issue with the last trailer we saw for the game.
Yeah.
The price is right, $30 for a game of that looks that quality.
Well, that is interesting. Yeah, price point is definitely an attractive factor for me in games nowadays. That's cool. Cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a psychological type game. Very, very dark. Very maybe Dark Souls-esque would be a good term to use.
Okay, that's fair. It's an open world game called Elex, E-L-E-X, that was announced apparently you can make lots and lots of choices in this game. It's open world, lots of freedom. That's what they're kind of trying to push here. It almost feels like an action-y kind of Fallout game.
Yeah, I'm not really sold on this one. That's
THQ Nordic,
some elements look pretty weak.
All right, and then there's an absolutely amazing trailer that you may want to go check out for a game called Chess Ultra VR. Can only imagine what that is.
See, this is a good use of VR right here. This game will
Okay.
release outside VR too.
As
But it's a chess game. It's a chess game, and you're playing like with the Green Reaper, as you should. And there's all these pieces, and you battle. It's one of those elaborate chess games. I think it has like grandmaster modes and stuff too. If you're really into chess.
Yeah, if you're into chess and you've invested in a VR headset, or haven't, you can play another chess game. This is weird, man, because I always think about these like single player board games being released through like Windows platform for like $5 as like an app. But this is adding another level of graphics and storyline theme, I guess, a little bit, and just atmosphere, I think, to chess, because that's what chess needs. Chess is boring otherwise.
No, I agree.
All right,
There's a little excitement there.
Trailer for a game called No Trace, which I think is like a stealth action game, right? Or something.
I don't remember, to be honest.
It's hard to remember all of these games. I think it's a stealth game, and then you like shoot guys in the back of the head or sneak up on them, stuff like that.
If I don't remember, I'm probably not that interested in it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's got a isometric. It's got a top-down view. It's not isometric because that's top-down. Check that out if you're interested in stealthy games that have some strategy to them. But in the top-down way, we saw Theseus. I'm sorry.
It's another VR game.
The VR game, okay. Memory starting to fade on all of these games.
I know it's like
it's
like a horror type game.
All right, horror type game.
I'm not sure. I think you're going for like a God of War feel to this. No, it's not horror. It's God of War.
The trailer is definitely showing me that kind of God of War, Darksiders kind of feel to it.
And it looks like this game could also be played outside VR as well.
Well, alrighty then.
Again, that's what developers are trying to do. Again, in my opinion.
I'm gonna put up a trailer for Gundam Versus, but you'll have to explain what Gundam Versus is to me.
It's you fight Gundams. You know what Gundams are, right?
Yeah, I know what Gundams are. I sometimes have a dream where I'm actually in a Gundam.
Well, now you can't be in
those
Gundam.
weird recurring dreams I have about twice a year, maybe. Yeah, it's one of those power fantasies. Okay.
Well, I mean, they're like the again a lot of these anime games with the lock-on targeting and you fighting game.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. That's really boring.
You think it's boring?
I mean, I'm watching it. I'm not doing it. I'm watching it. So watching it doesn't look fun. That's not to say that it isn't fun, because it could be a fucking blast. I don't know. I don't actually own a Gundam, nor have ever piloted one, but I would like to at some point in my life. Maybe that's on my bucket list. Pilot Gundam. I'm gonna make sure I write that one down right now. All right, I wrote it down.
Yeah, we got Extinction, which is it's Attack on Titan with orcs.
Yes, giant orcs.
I mean, they literally, the game is very much like, if you watch this trailer, it's very much like, this is Attack on Titan.
Yes.
With maybe a little bit more parkour elements to it.
Yeah, it's grotesque. It's, I'm sure it will appeal to somebody.
I mean, the orc regenerates its arm just like the Titans do.
There's a game from 505 called Indivisible that looks a lot like Symphony Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Well, actually, it's more like Valkyrie. Was it back in the days? I'm going to get this wrong, so forgive me. Profile, I think it was.
One of those Valkyrie games.
Yeah, the ones where you, but it has
could
an
be Mega
RPG
Man.
combat system.
It's got.
It's not.
It's got a better.
It looks like Mega Man right now, but when it goes into combat, it's more an RPG.
Okay.
But it has, right there.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
You press buttons and do combos and whatnot, and there's healing and whatnot. It's an RPG. And this one we talked about a lot, actually. I'm surprised you don't remember. But
I'm
it
watching
was
it now.
Kickstarted.
Coming
Well,
back.
actually, it was Indiegogo, but
It was crowdfunded.
it made a million something. And it's coming to Nintendo Switch now, so please be excited.
Yes, please look forward to it.
I'm actually looking forward to that game. Not on the Switch, but...
All right. Got a game called GTFO. I can't imagine what that stands for. And here's a trailer for it. Made by the same guys that made Payday 2. Yeah, I don't know what that says exactly about the game, but there it is.
Yeah, I don't know what this game's about either. It's a cooperative experience.
This one I'm a little more familiar with. Got Dungeon Defenders 2. That was announced.
I played the shit out of Dungeon Defenders. I think I was one of the first people to 100% the game on Steam.
Will you be picking up the sequel? Group.
Yeah. I don't know, actually, because I don't know if I had people to play this with. So the point of Dungeon Defenders was it was really fun to play with a group, and I had a group at the time to play with. And we 100% that game. We played it so hardcore.
Oh, dang.
It's a really fun game. It's a mix of tower defense and like action RPG.
Cool.
I definitely recommend this if you have friends, especially.
Yeah, I mean these games are better played with friends. Things like Helldivers, Magicka. You know, you just want to have a set group of people to play these things with.
I mean, if we get IGC into it, yeah, I'm all down.
Could happen. Could happen. Never know. All right, Lost Sphere. That's SPHEAR on how you spell sphere. This looks like an RPG to me.
It's okay. This one we need to talk about a little bit.
All right, fair enough.
So this is going for full price, I believe, $60 or $50, one of those. It is from the developers who made Setsuna. I Am Setsuna.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And
I can see
it looks
Setsuna. Exactly like that game. I was gonna say that, yo.
Which is not a good thing in my opinion. Okay. Setsuna did not review very well. It did not do well commercially, and this is more than they're charging for Setsuna which was considered expensive for what they offered.
I see.
At the time. So what is Square Enix doing with this? What is their strategy? And that name is terrible, as most Square Enix games are.
Yep. Weird ass names or long ass titles. I hear you. I hear you.
I mean, I would play this for sure if it was $10 maybe.
$10.
Yeah.
Well,
$10.
It could go on sale and be $10, and then you might buy it.
But I mean, what is the gall of these people charging $60 for this game or $50 or whatever it is? This is not worth that. This is a simple retro game.
They disagree with you, my friend.
I mean, they might disagree with me, but I am Setsuna with $30, and most people, and it didn't sell as well as it could have.
Yeah.
And this one's going to be twice that amount, and what are they offering? And they're reusing assets straight from the game on there.
That is, yeah, the overworld map especially is like totally just a flip here. I don't know, who knows? It's like I said, Square Enix, they do weird shit sometimes. Leave money on the table, don't want to make money, overprice things. I mean, they don't have a good, I think, global market research department that looks into things and says, how much should we sell this game for? I know we want to sell for this much, but could we possibly sell 10% more units if we drop the price by like $10? Could we push more units, I think PC gamers have been doing this a long time with Steam. You sell more units when you reduce the price, and that's better than making $5 twice or 3 times than making $10 once to a guy you put off,
I mean, it is frankly amazing Square Enix could continue to make this much money.
Yeah.
Considering like some of the business decisions they make.
I know. They just remade an entire MMO.
Where
We're remaking Final Fantasy VII. Crazy.
Where the hell is our Chrono Trigger remake?
Well, listen, you're
Wait, maybe it will be. Maybe it'll be a Sony conference.
Maybe. I feel like everything
These are
about,
dreams.
That is a dream. That is a great dream, actually. If Chrono Trigger got remade in 3D, really good graphics, like same story but maybe a little better, some optional in-game content. Yeah, I might play that again. I like playing Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger and FF6 used to be games I played like every year, just because, you know, like watching Star Wars movies multiple times every year. I used to play these games every year, just because I liked them that much. It's been a while. You've been watching a trailer for a while called The Last Day of June. This is some kind of story-driven narrative game about saving the people that you love. It's coming from 505 as well. A lot of these trailers are actually coming from 505. A lot of stuff in the pipe, huh?
It's from the developers of Murasaki Baby, which is,
not saying anything to me. I don't know why you would say that.
It's like saying I'm the developer of, I don't know.
Shit Pile Extreme Part 2. Okay, never heard of your game. I
don't think it was that bad, but
it's just kind of an odd thing to lead with a game like probably no one's heard of. Yeah, and then the last game that we have on the debuts and rumors and announcements here is Tiny Tracks. This one looks cute and neat.
And this is a VR game.
This is definitely a VR game.
Of course, it's basically obvious in the trailer because people are wearing VR headsets.
Yes. Yeah. So
anytime you see a live person reacting, like inside watching the game and reacting to it, that's a VR game.
This is how they market VR.
Which is not a good way to market
so
VR.
Bad. They're still trying to figure it out, man. They don't know. I mean, we don't even know.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's very hard. Very hard.
Only real way is to get people to play demos, which is not something people do anymore. So
that's true. Yeah, and you can't just say, "Hey, download this VR demo," because it's not going to help most people. All right. Well, you know, despite what I said about not going through every damn game, we certainly did. But we have a couple more things to go through. AIMonster is going to talk to you about a game that is apparently in the East right now. That may be coming to the West, never. But he wants you to know about because it either has boobs, or it's an otome game, or maybe it's what's another Japanese word for a game? Muso is a type of game.
Yeah.
Where's the one where all the girls go crazy and try to kill other girls? Is that a
Yandere?
Yeah, Yandere. Who knows? Why don't you tell us about this game? I don't even know what it's called.
It's called V Yusha no Kusei ni Namai Kidar RV.
Yes, it's called that. Which translates to No More Heroes Allowed R.
And this is a VR tower defense style game where you kind of move units around in VR. It looks kind of like a board game aesthetic to it, but it's obviously in real time, so it's not a board game. But it just kind of looks that way, and they're doing some interesting stuff with VR, I think. So I think this is worth mentioning. I'm surprised this hasn't gotten a Western announcement yet. I think it's just maybe a bit too Japanese quirky for now.
Yeah, it might be.
Maybe it'll never get ported over. Yeah, but I might actually go ahead and download this with my end.
This game is very Japanesey.
Very Japanesey.
It's so Japanesey.
But I think this is one of the more interesting takes on VR. That's why I put it on there. And again, it might never make it to the West, which would be sad. It would make me very sad. We need more PSVR games that are interesting that aren't rail shooters.
All right. I think my voice is done. So we're going to tell you about the upcoming games from June 12th to June 25th, which you can think about while you are watching the conferences tomorrow and Tuesday, or Monday and Tuesday, I should say. I don't know when you're going to listen to us. Tomorrow could be like Friday, for all I know. Yeah, so why don't you do that for us here?
Yeah, I could do it. It's a short list this time.
Pretty short.
Because it's E3, obviously, so people are just announcing games, not releasing them. We got Mighty Gunvolt Burst for the Switch. It's Mega Man. It's coming out June 15th. Cool. So yeah, you like Mega Man? Maybe check that one out. Probably better than Mighty Number 9. We got on June 16th. We got ARMS, the big big Nintendo release here.
Yeah.
For the Switch.
Big arms.
Yeah, and it's actually been reviewed already. It has not reviewed very well. It's gotten average reviews, which, when you consider plus Nintendo points, has been maybe it's even less than average. The game. People are complaining about the lack of content. It's just small arenas where you fight around in a small arena, and there's not much going on visually in the game besides the characters. So, I mean, there's a little bit to complain about there. People are worrying about the competitive aspects as well with the motion controls. They're maybe not up to par for competitive play. So we'll have to see if that actually turns into an esport or not. But yeah, so there's some caution there if you want to pick that up. But you're playing on the Switch. You're probably going to pick it up because it's one of the only Switch games in existence as a Nintendo first-party title. So just be honest with yourself. Go buy it.
You will probably buy it. Yeah.
Speaking of game, anyone will pick up and play? Who's a fan of these types of games? Final Fantasy Stormblood. It's coming out.
I'm not. I mean,
you're not picking this up? What?
Oh, I quit MMOs early this year. I tell you, it's been a void in my soul that is very difficult to fill with single player games. I have tried, and you know what? I might stop by at some point. I don't know. But I will say this: Square Enix does amazing trailers, for their single player games, for their MMOs as well. But what really does look great about this game is the new class. They're adding Samurai into this game, and I know you're not an MMO player anymore, but I would go and watch the Samurai gameplay, which is not done by the developer. It's actually done by a guy who actually knows what he's talking about as far as MMOs, like an actual MMO player. And he goes through all the stuff that Samurai class is bringing. But not only that, they are really overhauling a lot of the UI in this game. Every class and job is getting its own sort of meter, resource kind of thing, which I know is typical for a lot of the games, but the way they do it is really cool. Square Enix is very great with the art stuff. I would just check it out if you are if you played Heaven's Word or you dropped it. Check out Stormblood because it looks phenomenal, really phenomenal.
And this is releasing June 20th. I think there's an early access, right?
Yes. So early access is actually, let's see, the 20th is Tuesday. Early access starts this Friday on the 16th. So NI will be back on TeamSpeak here at IGC in full force. Which will be really great because I'm going to try to wrap a lot of recruitment stuff around their activity so that, people come by and say, hey, there's a lot of people playing. And get that going.
I've really considered picking this up, but, it's just with MMOs, I stopped playing MMOs for a while. And every time I try to get back into an MMO, it just got shorter and shorter now. It's not as fulfilling as single player games.
That's okay. We all feel that way, about different genres of video games. Like some we're really interested in, and then we lose interest in them. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. I used to be super into hack and slash shmups, and now I really don't care about those kind of games,
But yeah, this definitely looks great, and that's one thing you can say impressively about Square Enix is, at least with their mainline titles,
oh hell yeah,
their trailers are fantastic. And I forgot to put the Kingdom Hearts trailer on there, so when we're talking about the video game draft, can you please bring that up?
Sure, I'll look it up right now.
Because that trailer is very impressive too.
That's the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got links all over the place.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Next up, we had Gray's draft pick that he swapped out. Is actually releasing June 20th. It's Next Machina Death Machine.
Yeah, I didn't even know it had a subtitle.
I didn't know it had a subtitle. I think they just added that.
Yeah, maybe they wanted to differentiate it from the movie or whatever.
Yeah, but this is a very, very fast-paced bolt hell. Well, not really bolt hell shooter. What would we describe this as?
It's a top-down multiplayer shmup.
Isometric, yeah. Shmup. Very, very fast-paced. It said from the Resogun developers. Looks fantastic. I think this is going to score pretty high.
Yeah,
It might be a little too messy. That's maybe the only problem with it.
We'll see. You know, I may regret dropping this one. I may not. I don't know. But the more I see of it, I'm like, damn, man, maybe I should have kept it as a draft pick. I mean, I'm not gonna split hairs over 5 points on a Metacritic. It's just a game. At the end of the day.
All right, we got MXGP3, the official motocross video game. And it's coming out for PS4, PC, and Xbox One June 20th.
The game you've all been waiting for.
It's a motocross game.
There it is.
Yeah. You got Cave Story Plus releasing for the Switch. It's a platformer, very critically acclaimed platformer. Get the Switch scores up with all the old indie games that that we've all played before and know are fantastic, and this will score high as well critically.
Yeah.
So
Good chance.
inflated scores, not 100% true of Nintendo. Everything about Nintendo's inflated.
It's totally legit.
Yeah, totally legit. Taking remasters of games from 5-10 years ago. So we got I'm ranting about Nintendo, sorry. God of War's Futures Past for PS Vita is a strategy RPG. I think we talked about this a long time ago.
Yeah, this looks.
It was one of the Japanese games that did actually make it over to the West. I wasn't sure if this one was going to make it because very, very Japanese themed SRPG. But yeah, and it's a Vita game. They usually don't make it over. It is only for Vita, which is odd. But yeah. Oh, no, it's for PS4 too. I lied.
Okay, I won't hold it against you.
We got Ever Oasis, which is a JRPG for the 3DS. It looks like a JRPG for the 3DS, and it doesn't look very good. If you're going to play JRPGs, there's plenty of other options on the 3DS that are actually good, like we were talking about before, Etrian Odyssey, Shin Megami Tensei.
Sure.
You got Fire Emblem. Come on, this game just looks like why is it releasing so late in the 3DS life cycle #1? And why?
Good question.
Why is it just doesn't look? Does this look impressive to you?
No,
Ray?
no, but nothing on the 3DS ever does. So I'm not like a handheld player. I just can't, man. I can't do it.
And then we talked about it earlier, but we got Chess Ultra releasing for PC, Xbox One, PS4, Vive, Oculus, and PSVR.
Everything you can sit in front of and everything you can put on your face, basically.
And that's June 23rd. Not Switch though. It's not really something.
Not Switch. That's true.
Or
not
PS
Switch.
Vita.
Well, I didn't say everything you can also take with you to your friend's, rooftop party.
But you can sit down and play the Switch in that dock.
Okay, that's point taken. You can.
I probably would, if I bought a Switch, I'd probably be playing it handheld most of the time. I mean, that's what it's
Well,
there
yeah,
for.
that absolutely. No one plays that thing on like their kitchen table. They just take it to the bathroom with them, man, where you're supposed to play mobile.
I'm not a graphics whore, so I could care less about the better graphics in dock mode.
All right, so why don't you give us some updates on our fantasy video game draft here? What's shaking? Anything new come out?
All right, why don't you get that sexy Kingdom Hearts trailer going?
Oh yeah, sure. I will put the Kingdom Hearts trailer up here. Give me a moment. Wow.
All right, we actually had no score changes, but we did have one new game release. It is Star Trek Bridge Crew for PSVR. I think
not
it was
do well, huh?
Risky betting on Ubisoft. It was risky betting on PSVR game.
The
And
one
it did not pay off.
who's always promoting PSVR, man. I took your lead on this one here.
But let's be honest, it's risky.
Yeah, well,
Betting on
definitely.
any VR game.
But I
Because
mean,
you can't tell what the gameplay is going to be like from the trailers.
absolutely. I went off of my experience was playing Artemis Bridge Simulator, which was phenomenal with far less graphics. And I thought that experience was great for what it was trying to do. And I figured, man, if you up the ante on a game like this and add Star Trek in front of it and put it in VR, like that sounds to me like exactly the kind of game I would want to play in VR with friends that I know, of course,
No, I do want to state that this game was very odd on the review scores. There was a lot of people that didn't like it, and then a lot of people that absolutely loved it.
So it's kind of
Like
polarizing.
yeah, very very polarizing game, more so than probably any other game I've ever seen before. And yeah, so it wound up with a 75, which is exactly average on a reviewer score. So
Might
it's
as well
actually
be
a
a
50.
50. Yeah, pretty bad.
And
But
this
you know
release
what?
May 30th.
Still scored better than Mass Effect Andromeda by 1 point.
Yeah, it's not
Better than
considered.
Ukulele. Not bad.
It's not what we consider a low score. Anything below 75 is a low score. So it scored a 75. So yeah, so the only updates were Gray. He now has 4 releases.
Sweet.
His average is he's actually tied with Papa J in score and average. He has 321 points, and then an 80.25 average. The next up is Chuck Rowe in 3rd place with 80.5 average. He has 161 points, so he's actually last place in points with only 2 releases. So he's got a lot of games coming up. He will have to swap out Shenmue Free though, because that was confirmed for a 2018 release.
Indeed. Looks like he's going to be using his end of June swap, right? That's when we're doing it. So
yeah.
Otherwise, he's going to lose some points in that one. And yeah, stuff looks pretty good. I mean, we're halfway through the year right now, and I think the fact that all the scores are 80 and above is good. I think we're doing all right.
But yeah, we got Seifer with 2 releases. He's at 165 points, and his average is 2nd place with 82.5. And then finally, me, I have 4 releases, 341 points. I did have 1 swap. Seifer had 1 swap, and Gray had 1 swap as well.
Yeah.
And I have an 85.25 average. I am pretty confident I'm going to win this one.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We still got big titles coming up this year from a lot of players, so we'll see. We'll definitely see how it goes. Yeah. Right now, the scores are pretty front-loaded, so.
The only thing I'm worried about is maybe my swap choice was kind of risky, because Super Mario Odyssey may not release in this year. It's scheduled. I think it's scheduled for October 2017, but Nintendo has been known to push back games before.
Yeah.
Especially ones they want to be really, really big, like Zelda. I do know that the game, when it releases, is going to score at least an 80. It probably will score above 90. It may even score above 95.
We'll see.
It's a Nintendo game. It's Mario.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't think it can't go below 80. It just can't. It's
we got that Resident Evil 7 wild card at 85 points, man. I'm ready to do a swap.
Yeah, that's a good wild
card. It's only going to catch me up 11 points, and right now our gap is 20. So I got to hope that you fall behind a little bit, and I get at least one other solid release this year in terms of points.
But you need to understand, I have a solid wild card as well with 84 points.
This is just insane.
Yeah, our scores are really good.
See how it pans out.
And we kind of expected this. We kind of expected this to be a big year for games, and it was. It was a very big year. We have a lot of games in the high 80s, a few in the 90s. Persona 5 and Zelda, I believe, and then were there any more games that scored 90? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, but I think we had like 1 or 2 last year score 90.
So yeah, but we had Nintendo this year, so.
Yeah, way better than last year. Well, we had Nintendo last year. They just didn't release any good games.
Well, we had to switch this year is what I mean.
I think Star Fox and
Star Fox was bad, yeah.
Yeah, and Metroid, the Federation Force, which was the only time I've ever seen Nintendo score like below.
Gosh, people hate
below
that
75.
Game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's going good so far, and we're having a lot of fun with it, I think. And we still have more E3 to watch tomorrow, Monday, June 3rd, June 12th, and Tuesday, June 13th. So check out the conferences. We're happy to bring you guys the reviews of these. But we'll be back in a couple of weeks to talk about anything sort of as the dust settles from E3. We'll talk a little bit more about that stuff. So We'll be back in 2 weeks, right?
I just want to mention the actual conference is from Tuesday to Thursday as well, so there might be some game announcements there. I just did. I mentioned it.
Okay. Yep. So we'll be back in 2 weeks on Sunday, June 25th for episode 93. In the meantime, you can check us out on Twitter at impact_gamingcm, on YouTube, Impact Gaming. Check us out on Mixer at Grey Drillden and Twitch at Grey Drillden, of course, and on iTunes as well. So check us out there, subscribe to us. I will start putting our website stuff as well in the iTunes links, and the YouTube videos as well, so we get some more backtracks and backlinks from stuff like that. But in the meantime, if you're looking for a place to game, you can check out Impact Gaming Community at www.impact-gaming.us. We have a lot of things going on here. We got early access for Final Fantasy. Stormblood happened on Friday. We're playing Rocket League. We're playing Tabletop Simulator. We still have a D&D group, which actually concluded yesterday. So we are in the market for yet another DM as well. We play a little bit of Star Wars Destiny on occasion, and we've got an Arma 3 group as well. So we're looking to expand over the next couple of weeks and things like that. So we'll be in touch. But if all you do is listen to the podcast, then we'll be back on, like I said, Sunday, June 25 for episode 93. And we'll see you then. And until then, game on.